Ready?
Ta-da!
Oh my gosh.
Love me.
I do love you. What is up, guys? My name's Jeff. That is my wife. She is back on the show for the next couple of weeks. And today we are going to talk about mental capacity. I have no idea what that means, but we'll be right back. How are you?
I'm good. My day off.
It is your day off.
Great.
And you chose to do this with me. That's love. Anyway, before we get started, we are going to do the uncommon questions. I like this one. If you want, I will put where I pulled it out of the box when we weren't talking about it. You have 1 hour. What situation can you put someone in to learn the most about them?
Turn off the internet.
Oh my goodness. That is way better than what I came up with.
It's true. Because if you have someone who's freaking out, you're going to learn a lot about them. But yeah, no, turn off the internet and you're going to see real quick. You could have given me 5 minutes and that would have told me all I need to know.
Oh my goodness. The five of us lose our minds when the router resets.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say driving.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because you can learn a lot by somebody in probably not an hour, but driving would be just ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. That's exciting. Internet. I would have never thought about that. As soon as I pulled it out, I was like, driving, because I can't ride in a car with people who can't drive. I will throw up.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
Nope.
Anyway, mental load, right? And mental load, like the things that we process every day as a married couple, like all of the stuff has a mental load, like it weighs down. So it's like we want to get to other stuff or the things we want to do, but then there's the 9 million things we have to do, like making sure our kids are still alive and we go to work and the internet's on, stuff like that. Right? Dishes, cleaning countertops, the essentials that your spouse feels like they're appreciated in a busy season, but at the same time, making sure that your spouse feels valued, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I put, sometimes remind your husband that they're good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reading a book called Not a Fan, which has nothing to do with marriage, but one of the stories in there was this husband went through and did all of the things. He would pick up the kids from school. He would make sure they were ready. He was the soccer mom, did everything. And 10 years in, his wife still didn't feel valued or appreciated.
Yep.
That's not fun. So before we jump into it, we always express that mental health is a serious thing in all aspects of life. Whatever issues, depression, anxiety, and just past things can turn into a difficult marriage if they're not dealt with. We are not mental health professionals. This is just a topic we think is important to address. If something we talk about today is triggering, for lack of a better word, or sparks an emotion, go seek a professional counsel or therapist who has the proper tools, because we are not them. That being said, mental health and mental load is an important aspect of who we are and what we do. So before I ask you a bunch of questions and thoughts, what is your initial thought on mental load?
Oh, someone explained this to me millions of years ago, that everybody wakes up every morning with a certain amount of spoons. And it's the one thing that has made the most sense to me is sometimes you wake up and you have 50 spoons. Now, friends of ours that have, other autoimmune issues like fibromyalgia or some of these other debilitating things may only wake up with 10 spoons. And so every task that you have to do every day costs a spoon. Doing dinner may cost 2 spoons. Going to the grocery store may cost 5 spoons. And so for me, that has always made the most sense. Like waking up, there are some days where I have to I have anxiety, so full disclosure, like that's something that I have to deal with. And I'm an introvert. Not that anybody ever believes me, but social situations just drain me. And so after what we have dubbed and coded peopling, I've done too much peopling, my mind just shuts down. And the act of having to, and sometimes it's putting on the face, um, and being that quote unquote perfect person, whatever that looks
Mm.
like in my head, because it's not Jeff's thing. That's 100% me. But after putting that face on that I'm doing great today, it just drains me. And so my mental capacity goes from doing okay to like nothing. And I don't want to talk. I don't want to people. I like, even with Jeff, I don't want to do anything. And so it looks different on a daily basis. So if I have a lot going on at work, my mental capacity might be slightly less. If it's a day like today where it's my day off, I have no obligations, my mental capacity is greater. Like I can go get my hair done, I can go get a pedicure, I can go run to the grocery store, all things that on a day that I'm working might be more mentally taxing, because for women, and it's not a knock on men, it's just how our brains work. I swear there are some days where I have 75 browsers open in my mind. One of them is playing music. I have no idea where it's coming from. And you ask me to do one more thing. It doesn't matter who's asking me, but someone asks for one more thing. And I get the code 505 error, shut down, I'm done. So that's how my brain works.
All of our nerds just unsubscribe because it's 404.
Is it 404? I am not a tech person.
Oh my goodness.
Is it? Oh,
yes.
okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. You're my tech person.
I know. And anyway.
Hey, I knew what the context was.
Yes.
I got one wrong.
This is fantastic.
I'm sorry.
No, I'd never heard the spoon thing. 16 years. I don't think you've ever told me that story.
Really?
I've heard the web browser thing because
But
we
it
can
makes
just
sense.
shut the computer off and be just fine. And
Yeah. And then I'm laying,
I have met ladies that can do that. It's weird. That
Yeah,
can
no.
just, what are you thinking about? Nothing. It's like they're in, they're in standby mode, just standing there. I'm like,
It's rare for me to be able to do that.
yeah, it makes me laugh because I'm like, guys, like, what do you think about? Nothing. How do you do that? I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I'm jealous that you can do that.
And so that's why two totally different perspectives of mental load. Like, I genuinely don't care. And
I know.
and it's things like the example that I have is one of our rules is the kids don't jump on the couch.
Yes.
I don't care that the kids don't the kids jump on the couch.
And it drives me crazy.
You do. So most of the time, the rules are kids don't jump on the couch.
Yes.
That's a mental thing. I don't care, but you do. So
Mhm.
how do I process that in my, oh, we're not supposed to do that?
Yeah.
It's remembering things. And this is not like, this is, each relationship has their version of this, but it's, I think of it as, what do we need to do so I don't have to say the phrase, don't tell mom we did this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, there's things like when me and our son go out and do things, like there's things guys do, but there's other things like,
Yeah.
don't tell mommy you jumped on the couch.
Yeah. Knowing full well that they're going to tell me because
Yes.
you said not to.
Which is whatever.
Yeah.
And when I think of mental load, like I'm task oriented, right? I write down all of my stuff. I plan all my empty space. And so for me, it's like, these are the things that I want to get done. These are the things I want to get done related to my goals. And if anything happens that adjusts that thing, my day is like awful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot better, but like my mental
You
load
have.
is taskless, not necessarily like I don't care that the dishwasher didn't get run. Now, genuinely speaking, you don't care verbally that the dishwasher didn't get run, but it's a thing that's on your mind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the dishes are dirty. Right. And we'll get into things that we do that help our spouses understand. But there are a lot of things we can do regularly to maintain a healthy mental marriage. over time, not taking care of a partner's needs or our own needs can lead to resentment and unkind family lifestyle
Mhm.
and even separation at some point. And not like the needs, like not just the physical needs, but like we like having a clean house. So it is
Yes.
a thing. Like there are some seasons where you just don't have the time. And that's not a bad thing. We have conversations about this, but how many other people or other couples, they're both working full time, they have multiple kids, and they're trying to do whatever it is to make their career or education better. So
Mhm.
everybody's doing 80 hours a week and the dishes just pile up.
Mhm.
Or in our case, there's like 6 loads of laundry sitting in front of the washing machine because we just haven't had time this week.
Mhm.
Um, and but we talk about those things, and so it's like we're in a season where I do the kid stuff, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Ooh. We'll edit that out,
I
I
was
hope.
gonna say that was loud.
But we weren't always that way. Like when we first got married, like we did a lot of things together, and there's a lot of things I just didn't do because I didn't know they were supposed to be done because whatever.
Mhm. That was a tough conversation.
Oh my goodness. Yes. But they're conversations that need to be had because we can end up 16 years later. Like, remember that time we lived in that questionable, really small apartment by the beach and you
Right.
refused to throw out Mountain Dew cans?
Okay, I was cleaning. Okay,
No,
let it
I
go.
refused to
Oh,
throw out
you
Mountain
did.
Dew
Oh yeah.
cans, not you.
I was like, I don't drink Mountain Dew. Okay. Anyways.
Anyway, so there are some things that have become habits that don't help our marriage, and there's just mental things that we can take into account that um I totally went blank.
I got you.
There are processes and things we can do that um help move things along or drastically change the outcome of the day. Like uh, the dishes is the one that, and I've shared this one a bunch of times. I share this one with people all the time. For our house to be clean, you want the sink to be empty.
Yes.
If I could find a way to hide dirty dishes so the sink was empty, I'd have figured it out by now. If the dishes are done, the rest of the house could more or less be whatever it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and you would be mentally okay with the cleanliness of the house. For me, it is all of the flat surfaces, all of the tables. So this table, the island, the bar, if there's anything on any of them and it doesn't look like it did in the catalog, it is not clean and it drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And the couch. That's the other. I hate when stuff's on the couch like that. You guys can't see this. We have a lot of laundry, and so this couch is just covered with laundry, and it drives me nuts. And there's nothing I can do about it. But those kind of things, knowing those things for your spouse, like I try really hard to make sure, if not the night before, but before you get up, that the dishes are done,
Mm-hmm.
because then the kitchen's clean in your mind.
And I can start the day fresh.
And for me, it's the island and the table. If I can see the island and the kitchen table, life is good.
Yeah, but there's also something to be said about knowing your person's thing, what that tick is, because for me, if we want to have alone time, wink wink nudge nudge, if there's dishes in the sink, that's all I'm thinking about. And it takes so much longer to get into the zone if there's dishes in the sink, and it's dumb. I know it's dumb.
This is why I try to make sure the dishes are done the night before.
Yeah, keys to the universe. But I have friends that it's the laundry. Like they don't necessarily care that the dishes are done. It's the laundry. But the difference too, just keep it in. Just don't say it out loud because I know where you're going with that. For him,
Somebody's gonna ask us now.
because you can't control your face.
Nope.
Ay. For all of Christmas, bless your heart, I love you to death. I had all of my craft stuff laid out on this table. And I mean, we could only use half of it. And I know this.
There were a couple of days I didn't know we had a table.
Okay, I was not done, but yes, I will own that 100%. But for you, even though it drives you crazy, talking mental load here, is that will not inhibit you from alone time.
Sure.
So knowing your person, your partner in life, what their thing is, whatever that is, if it's laundry, if it's the table, if it's dishes, if it's the trash, because there are some people that I have seen their trash cans and it is a work of art how many things they have been able to stack up waiting for their partner to take the trash out. But for mostly women, now guys sometimes I have heard do this too, but mostly women, if that thing is not done, that's all they can think about, and it's not going to happen until that's done. And let me tell you, if the dishes aren't done and I have to do them, I will go on a cleaning rampage and the whole house will be done.
It's kind of impressive, to be honest. It doesn't happen often.
Fear the blue bucket. I stress clean.
Fear the blue bucket, yes. And the bucket she cleans with is blue.
Yes.
Things that can be done together to ease the mental load, right? Because the mental load, to use your spoon thing, there's work, and I'm self-employed in both of my jobs, so work is
flexible.
Yeah, but you have a normal job, and that takes a good chunk of your mental load. And so at the end of the day, yes, there's chores and kids and life and things that need to be done, but other things that can be done, like we're in this together till death do us part, thick and thin, whatever your version of it is. Don't forget what that means, right? That, yes, you need to make sure the dishes are done so that your wife wants to go and have alone time. But there's other things, like I put this in here, and it's we have to be careful with this, because if we don't have honest, loving conversations about these things, they can end very badly. But encouraging good habits.
Yes.
Right? Going to sleep on time, having the right diet, whatever the diet is. And diet is almost a bad word now, but eating good, whatever good looks like for you and your person. Sleep, exercise, and all of those things. And the story say you have to be careful with like weight and exercise and all of those things, because if you approach them improperly, you can have a permanent nap on the couch.
Yes.
I have never slept on the couch.
I know.
Okay. I'm like, you said that
I'm not
like
saying it. I'm agreeing with you. You do have to approach it carefully, because realistically, and for our men listening, women do not want you to agree that they are fat. We know. We have heard it. Our children have lovingly told us that our tummy is squishy like a pillow, especially after having children. We know. However, it tends to be an easier conversation if you are struggling to find that in, usually right around New Year's or after their birthday or right before a trip. We get gung-ho, oh, I'm going to lose, 100 pounds in a week. That's not possible. However, I would love to help you get healthier. How can I support you? And I swear, if I hear this, I'm going to laugh. But also understand.
I was like, we've had this conversation. What are you talking about?
And I have health stuff. So like also understand that your significant other may have health issues. Jeff can lose 5 pounds without thinking about it, and I gain them just by breathing too deeply. So, health it's a touchy subject, especially for women.
And
approach it in love.
With love and compassion, not hate and mistreatment, because that's not what we're about.
But that's like every conversation. Fight fair.
Yes, but this one especially.
Yes.
Anyway, do things together every day. And it doesn't have to be over the top. Like, you don't need to go broke trying to do something together every day. For us, it's our kids go to bed around 8 o'clock and we watch TV. And like yesterday, I was working on show notes and things like that. And you were whatever you were doing. We're in the same room together. We sit together, like doing something together. We went to dinner yesterday. We did that.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, but it's also simple things like, I'm taking a small 1 semester break from school. So we're getting caught back up on some of the stuff that has gone to the wayside. But when I am in school, I try to purposely sit by you. I've got my laptop so I can work
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. And I know that's not always feasible, but you're playing a video game or you're watching TV, and I purposely try to sit by you, or, you know, whoever's cooking, it's usually you cooking. But
I love
we'll
cooking.
sit at our kitchen island and just talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And how was your day? And we'll strategically plan out our week sometimes. And you'll
Yeah.
never guess what fill in the blank child did today at school. So
Right. Yeah, that's
simple.
doing things together, but it doesn't mean like the activity has to be together.
Mhm.
Like being in the same room together. Uh do it. Put fruit emojis together repeatedly and often is what I put in my notes. The other stuff too, like yes, physical intimacy is necessary. Like the guys need it all the time and ladies need it most of the time, but the dishes have to be clean. But do other stuff. Hold hands in the car, watch TV, play with each other's hair. Whatever it is, like go read 5 love languages and figure out what your thing is. Do that. But those kind of physical things for us are mental releases. Like the day's been awful, there's a lot of stuff going on, or the day was great and there's still a lot of stuff going on. That hour or so at the end of the day doesn't necessarily mean physical intimacy, but it's just hanging out and being present with each other. Releases the mental load, right? It doesn't mean that all the other stuff doesn't happen spontaneously. Like those are still fun. But what it does mean is that no matter what happens, there's still a time to hang out and be together. Clothing optional.
There's also, jeez, just had to put that in there. There's also something that we try to implement as often as possible, because one thing is sometimes I need to vent and sometimes I need you to help me fix it.
Oh, Mike and I talked about this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we had a whole show. We watched the video with the nail.
The nail? Okay,
Yeah.
good. So they know what we're talking about. But it is really important, especially when you're having those moments together, because there are sometimes I just need to get something off my chest. You're my person. You're my venting buddy. But, when we first got married, I swear you tried to fix everything and it made me so mad. I'm like, just shut up and listen. I don't care. And I think it was probably that video that really changed it for us, which is odd. But
Oh, yeah.
it really, really helped. And there's been some times where you have even paused, because I try to say it ahead of time, like, I just need to vent and you're okay. And then there's sometimes you will literally put the phone down, and like you're cooking dinner, you'll put the phone down on speaker so you can hear me, but you're not actively like conversating with me, which sometimes is amazing. But after that, it really changed how we approach some of our conversations. And I love the fact that now you're like, hold on, pause. Are you venting, or do we need to work on this? And that's been a huge game changer.
Yeah. I'll link it somewhere. But we broke it down to listen to listen for support, and listen to fix it.
Which is fair.
And like, I've shared this story a couple of times. When you used to drive home from work and I wouldn't even have the phone with me and you're just talking. Like, I don't need to fix it. She just wants to talk. And I'm not going to remember, because you talk about all kinds of stuff.
Things.
So like, these are not things I have to remember. You just need to talk.
Yeah. And most of the time, at least for the drive home, it was, you'll never guess what happened at work. And the fun things that, inevitably happen at work that have nothing, water cooler talk. And I stopped really. At one point, I stopped using names because I knew he was not going to remember it. And so now he's like, wait a second, was this about so-and-so? And I'm like, wait, huh?
I was listening.
You were, and it shocks me sometimes. But I don't expect you to remember every minute detail of the people I work with, or the things that I do at work. And I think that's also a good thing. Like when you're listening to vent, I do not expect you to remember every minute detail, because also understanding that like you're never going to meet half of the people that I talk to about work just because of
Sure.
circumstances. And so it's really difficult to remember, Skippy from work. There's no actual Skippy, it's just a made up name.
Yeah.
Um but like you're not going to remember this person because you've never met them, and I don't expect you to. And so that's an expectation that I don't have for you.
And I'm grateful.
Mhm. I think we've derailed this conversation.
No, it's so the original idea that we had behind mental capacity was at the end of the day, not every day, but there's a desire for some physical intimacy.
Mhm.
And if the mental load is expired or too much, however you want to interpret that, it's not happening.
Mhm.
Right. And so, like, we schedule it. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen any other time, but
Yeah.
it's like that's the day. And that's,
Yeah. But there's also that we're a family friendly show. You have
what
to
is it?
warm things up.
Yes.
The pre-boil, if you will.
Yeah.
And
Pre-game.
Thank you. I was like, we need the word. But there's simple little things like, and it sounds very cold when you say it. We pre-schedule things, but it's that expectation, and we torture each other with it, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's is he going to brush past me?
Sure.
And is he going to do something? And so it builds that anticipation. And it actually it's more fun, honestly, versus like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's a Tuesday. It may happen, it may not. But sometimes those, like, the kids aren't here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a date day because my wonderful family, oh my gosh, we have an amazing family.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, can we have the children? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the kids are knocked out with Benadryl because, it's allergy season and that's what, they need. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, we can have a little bit more fun because they're actually going to sleep tonight, rather than it's midnight and our son is, mommy.
Yeah. And I'm with you. It's the mental load of all of the things, and this is how, like, and not all guys are like this, but the majority of us, it's the context is how do I release your mental load?
Mm-hmm.
Because the physical part of our relationship is how we feel most connected. And it's I don't know the best way to explain it. I share you with 3 other people consistently, plus work and school.
Yes.
That's my, try not to laugh too hard, 3 minutes to 30 minutes that I get you by myself without a TV, without a distraction, without a phone, whatever. And so in my head, it's most of the time, because life still catches up with us. What can I do to help you be mentally ready for anything else that happens in the rest of the day?
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, it's clean dishes.
Yes.
And you guys have to figure out whatever that is for your spouse. And it's not to say that it has to happen every day, because but the idea of the mental issues turn into things don't happen, then everybody gets grumpy, and then everybody's grumpy all the time, and then everybody gets separated, and that's not why we're here, not why we do this.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes, like, understanding that there are outside forces that are just plaguing our mind, sickness, people in the hospital,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can happen.
The great fiberglass debacle of 2023.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole other show.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is.
So understanding that there are sometimes just going to be some things that you cannot help your significant other mentally unpack.
Yeah.
But how do you still show your support?
Mm-hmm.
There has been times where someone has passed, and like when my grandpa passed, for example, that was really hard for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 3 young children. I think they were under 3 and under.
Mm-hmm.
And that was rough because they didn't understand. And then naturally, my son was, I think David was 3 when this happened. He's asking for grandpa because that was his little buddy. And so that kind of ripped the Band-Aid off every single time. So there are still ways that you can be intimate without completing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
without the field goal.
Yes. Touchdown.
Is that what?
Field goal works too.
Whatever.
Field goal's only halfway. I'm with you though. There are plenty like we sit and watch movies together. The last thing I put in here was to go on dates like you did before you had children or were married.
Well, you should never stop dating your spouse.
Yes, and then I put be really weird and do the other thing first, and then go on your date because then
it's when that has happened, it's hilarious because then you're a visual person, and so you track, and it's really funny when I watch you do this. Like you watch me walk away. Like if I have to go to the restroom or whatever, and it's like a pair of hungry eyes, and it is hilarious. But it's almost that like you've boiled the water, but it's still warm enough that all you got to do is kick that flame up, and it can go to a boil again very quickly.
Yes. All right. So the last thing I got is, and this is from, where is this from? Marriage.com, is 7 keys to improve mental wellness in your marriage that I think are interesting. And we'll run through these really, really quick because we're at 30 minutes.
It's a good conversation.
It is great. Stop analyzing everything. Leave the past in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Complete yourself on your own.
Those are good.
That one was like, yeah. Don't make your partner feel low. Don't involve the third one, whatever that third one is, whether it's a
mother-in-law.
Yeah, mother-in-law,
an ex,
arguably a child, if it's one of those, like if you're fighting over your kids, like,
or even your partner's kid, may not be your kid.
Yeah. Healthy and regular communication. We talk about that all extensively. And then spend time with your family, which we like date day and all of that stuff. I thought all of those were great. And I was like,
yeah, don't let the past go.
Right.
That's a hard one. And I think that's really important, especially for women.
Yeah.
Because I'm petty. Oh, I am petty. I will call that out.
No.
Just let me say it. You don't have to agree. But women do. We tend to be very petty, and we tend to hold the grudge. But if you did the same thing to me, because I'm not the same person you married, and you're not the same person that I married. I do think that we have aged like fine wine. But
like a keg. I don't know what you're talking
about. Jeez. I really think that one is really important to call out and really truly understand because, and I'm going to use a simple example because there's so many that we can use. But like if I held a grudge that you did not empty the dishes, because obviously this is a thing. This is my thing. But if I held on to you did not do the dishes last Friday before you went to work, then when you get back from work, that's going to not only fill my mental load, and that's all I'm going to think about. It's going to cause some physical things. It's going to cause my blood pressure to go up. It's going to kick my anxiety. And these are personal things that I know of for me, but it's common when you're holding on to something and not letting it go. And then we would have missed out on so many good things this week because
Sure.
I'm holding on to something that you may not even know is bothering me. So, that's a simple example, but I know that there are some other people that are like, you texted not Jeff, not you, but the other
Mhm.
person out there may have texted their ex or, done something that the other person feels is inappropriate or may be inappropriate. If you're choosing your partner and you're going to continue growing in life with them, you've got to let certain things go or you cannot move forward.
Yeah.
So that's my call out.
All right. Anything else?
I love you.
I love you too. Again, we are not mental health professionals. We are just a couple that think that these are some
Marriage.
practical things you can do to
Yep.
stay married. So if you need professional help, go find it. We are not it. Check us out on the socials at My Wife Still Likes Me, at mywifestilllikesme.com. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you later.